Stephen's mom.
Okay. How are you feeling right now?
I'm probably still in shock. I go from up, down. It changes from minute to minute.
Yeah.
So,
When did you get the news of what happened?
early Saturday morning. I was in Portland getting ready to go to the coast and meet my husband, and they called me.
How did you feel?
I shock, of course. I couldn't. I couldn't. I was a little bit frantic, and but I was like, I'm okay to drive. I'm okay. So, and I went to the ICU.
Tell me a little bit about your son, Stephen. What was he like? What was his character like?
Stephen he was never a dull moment. He was challenging. I mean, he had, but he was so persistent, for better or for worse. But and he wanted to. He had been on disability most of his life. And just one day he's like, I canceled my SSI and I'm gonna work. And he went to school. He got a associate's degree, and he had a few jobs trying to find his place. And he really liked it there. So, but we also just bought a house in Portland, and the plan was for him to come up and live with us.
Yeah. How would you describe him as a worker? Would you say he was a pretty hard worker?
He was, yeah. I mean, when he was in that mode, yeah, he was. He was definitely. His boss called me, and she was very upset, and it was funny because she came to see him, and I was like, breathe with me, calm down, you can't drive like that. She really seemed to love him and care. So yeah, he was just very lovable.
Yeah. Tell me more about that. You say he was lovable.
Well, okay, so Stephen was in the autistic spectrum. However, so that sometimes caused, friction with processing, but when he was just like, if somebody needed help or if I was sick, he would do the things, that a person does. You makes them soup, and he was always so sensitive. But I mean, I think that was part of it, is that, and it was kind of surprising that he was working in a customer-facing kind of job, because it was like, because he's not ever been incredibly social. But his brother and I, the three of us, were pretty tight-knit. Even though we didn't all live in the same city, that was the plan. Mm-hmm. Someday we'll be back in the same city again. He's just so sweet. And he actually, over a year ago, gave both his brother and I an envelope that says on the outside, "If Stephen is dead." And we were like, what is this? But, and it was a letter stating his wishes, and that he wanted to be cremated, his ashes near Zion Park, And that part was the same. And then the bottom paragraph, he wrote something to his brother and something specific to me. He was so sweet. I mean, I had that, but he was so prepared. I mean, in his wallet, when I got his wallet, he had a piece of paper with emergency contact, and I believe that's how they contacted me. He was thorough.
Unfortunately, what happened to him was a case where it wasn't targeted directly at him. They didn't come after him. It was random. Whatever happened that night, the man in there that's being arraigned made a decision to take his life. What's your reaction to that?
I guess I question, did he really make, what was he thinking? He wasn't thinking. No, he's so, of course I feel rage, but he's so young, and already it's my understanding to already have had that level of violence in his life. I don't feel empathy. I feel rage, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel, because me and myself is kind of, everybody has a story, everybody has a history, and so I'm not sympathetic to the horrible thing he did, but I don't know what could bring a person to that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And yeah, Stephen didn't deserve that. So I don't know what he deserves. What this person.
If you could speak to him, what would you say?
I've thought about that. And right now I don't know.
Yeah, you're still in shock.
Yeah.
Your brother was telling me your plans today are to go to Stephen's apartment.
Yeah.
Have you been there yet?
No.
How do you feel about that? Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if he has a computer at this point, but my hope is to go in and turn it on and turn on his playlist, which he had a very unique choice in music, and just listen to his music. So, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. What are you hoping comes out of the charges that Mr. Savaths is facing? The logical part of my brain kicks in. According to what I saw, he was charged with second-degree murder, which is a minimum of 25 years, and he's only 22, which means that if he were in 25 years, he would be younger than I am when he, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I hope he finds something meaningful to do with his time. What would you say Stephen liked to do for fun? Tell us more about him. What were his hobbies? You mentioned he had a good playlist.
Yeah,
He liked to work out. He liked to play video games. When we were in the ICU, his brother and a mutual friend were talking about Stephen's knack for ill-timed push-ups. And, all of a sudden you hear the eye of the tiger and you're looking and Stephen's like in the middle of a store doing push-ups. But yeah, he was, he had some interesting hobbies that people might consider odd. But yeah, he liked to write. He liked to write stories, which actually was quite good, what I've read. And he had grand ideas. I mean, when he was going to school for drafting, he was like, I want to build affordable housing. And, he always said, I want to run for political office. He was pretty driven, Sometimes I felt like I was, well, hold on a second, what do we need to do to get there? We're not just going to go buy a suit. There are things we do before. He's just so, he was a grown man, but sometimes he was like a little kid, just so many grand visions and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And his life aspirations were large.
Yes, very, very large. Yeah.
So he was working at that 7-Eleven for about 6 months, right?
Yeah, I actually was going through our text messages because when he got the job, he texted me, I got the job. And I thought it was about June. So, yeah, not very long. And yeah, he was just stocking shelves at first, and then he helped behind the register, and yeah, he'd send, he and I talked not every day, but almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, he really liked it there. He hadn't been there that long, but.
How old was he?
32.
32. Oh, he's so young.
Yeah.
He had a lot of life ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was struggling a little bit with things, and talked about maybe I should put together a portfolio for drafting because it would be more money, So, and that was part of him coming up to be with my husband and I, so we could support him in pursuing that and, getting kind of back on his feet.
Was he planning to move to Portland?
Yeah, we, there you can have hookups for a travel trailer, and we picked a house with hookups already there, and we have a travel trailer, so he would be with us but in his own space. So yeah, I talked to him on Friday. We had just got our offer accepted, and I wanted to tell him, but then I didn't want him to just quit his job because we're not moving for another month. But yeah, I talked to him on his way to work that day. Yeah, one thing that makes me feel is the last thing that we said to each other was, I love you. So it was a good talk.
If you could talk to him one last time, what would you say?
I would have told him that we got the space for him so that he would have just given notice and quit his job. Yeah. I would have been, okay, we're done. Come on. And he wouldn't have done it, though, because it was his shift and he wouldn't have wanted to leave anyone in a lurch. So, yeah.
Can you think of anything else, Doug? Anything else you'd like to add or talk about? You got a long road ahead with trial and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah, I feel like Detective Seitz, that was he he kept me notified. He tolerated my text messages. Everybody has been really, really supportive and really helpful, and that ICU. They're saints. And Stephen got to donate his heart and his liver and 2 kidneys for 4 people. So that's a good thing.
I'm sorry that you're breaking down, but I appreciate you sharing.
Stephen's fabulous. Everyone should know how fabulous he is.